Hello everyone, it's Sino again, and I'm back with a video that's been in the works for a while now. I wanted to make a video to give you guys my insight on which champions you should main. Throughout my time of playing League of Legends, I've encountered countless players that would only play one or a handful of champions over and over, and this was something I kind of struggled to grasp. Sure, I had some champions that I really enjoyed more so than others, but I found myself playing a bit of every champion at some point and was many times left in the dark about who to main. As a forenote, yes, I think it's very important to enjoy the champion you're playing, but this guide is going to focus on how to choose your mains most effectively from a game-winning standpoint. I'm going to start off by saying that as much as playing every champion helped me garner a better understanding of the game, it really hindered the rate at which I was improving as a player. I definitely think that playing only a select number of champions as much as you can is the best way to improve your skills in League, because once you've mastered these champions to a decent enough level, you'll be able to focus on the more important aspects of the game that dictate how good you really are, like map awareness, team fighting, macro level decision making, or whatever. Through my own personal experience and research, I've concluded that there are 4 main champion traits to consider when choosing an effective main. These are flexibility, adaptability, playmaking ability, and snowball potential. I will briefly explain each of these points with champion examples and then give you a list of one champion for each role that covers all 4 areas, making them great options to main. When I say flexibility, I'm talking about champions that aren't confined to one certain optimal item build that has to be followed every game. They should have the ability to choose from a variety of items that can fit and complement their kit depending on the unique circumstances of each game. Flexibility also means the champion's ability to fit in a variety of different team comps. A champion that I consider very flexible is Echo. You can build Echo AP heavy as an assassin type mage, you can build him full tank and utilize his ability to chase down targets, you can build a mix of both and become a jack of all trades and take him in the top, middle or jungle. Your possibilities are almost endless, and the overall utility his kit brings allows him to synergize well in any team comp. Next up, we have adaptability. Now this is probably the most overlooked factor in choosing a main champion. Adaptability is your ability to react to the ever-changing conditions of a game, and the options your champion has to swing the course of a game that isn't going favorably. One can argue that all champions possess this ability, but there are certainly some that do this better than others. Rengar mains will probably crucify me for saying this, but he is probably a prime example of a champion with really poor adaptability. His passive basically means that if you don't get ahead early, you'll probably be useless late. His kit is entirely centered around bursty damage, so if you get punished early, chances are that your surprise ultis in the mid game will be pretty easy to survive. Now with this in mind, a champion like Rengar excels in an area like Snowball Potential, so I wouldn't rule him out completely. He just doesn't really do well in this area. Think more of a champion like Aurelia, with the ability to swing the whole game around with one well-timed stun on an enemy carry. Now to my personal favourite, playmaking ability. I may be biased on this, but I think a champion's capacity to make plays or outplay an opponent might be the most important thing to consider when maining a champion. This is because once you understand the ins and outs of a champion, making plays will become second nature when you play them. A perfect example would be Vayne. Once you hit level 6 as Vayne, you've got the potential to solo kill any other ADC in the game if you outplay them correctly. All it takes is being capable enough to stun your opponent off a wall and use your stealth to avoid an ability or delay their auto attack. This is such an important factor, because having a level of understanding of the strengths and limitations of your champion, more so than your opponents and their respective champions, means you have the potential to outplay them regardless of how the game unfolds. Last but not least, we have snowball potential. If you have a really high level of skill on a champion with the ability to snowball hard, you can probably climb elo really quickly by being able to close out games earlier than usual. There you go, Rengar mains, you've been justified. Snowball potential is essentially a champion's capability of creating an extensive lead from small advantage. This mostly translates from early game power, so think champions like Zed who can 1v1 kill just about any lane opponent pre-6 and become strong enough to 0 to 100 enemy carries over and over as the game progresses. Keep these 4 factors in mind as an outline when picking which champion or champions you want to main. Do note that not all champions encompass all the tools necessary to fit this agenda. This is just my interpretation of what is the most effective. Here I have one champion for each role that I've chosen as examples of perfect options to main, and I'll explain exactly why. Starting in the top lane, we have Hecarim. Hecarim will secretly always be a powerhouse. Aside from his strong lane presence and 1v1 potential, a Hecarim with teleport can make plays all game long to extend the leads his team needs to win the game. His E and ultimate can be used to chase down enemies or peel for his carries if he has to adapt in that way. Hecarim can build just about any tank item in the game and synergizes well with a huge range of damage items too, giving him the flexibility to fill whatever role his team requires of him. In the jungle, I've chosen the fan favourite Lee Sin. There's a reason why Lee has always been one of the more popular picks in League. His playmaking ability speaks for itself. I don't think I need to explain myself much here. His early to mid game ganks can snowball leads for any laner, especially with a damage heavy build. Lee has the option of building full damage, full tank, a mix of the two, or just about anything he really wants. His variety of options are also a huge contributing factor in allowing him to swing a losing game around, whether it be with his pick potential or his ability to peel for squishies. In the mid lane, we have Fizz. God, I love Fizz as much as I hate playing against him. You do not want to play against a snowballing Fizz. If he gets ahead early, he can kill anyone on the map, and I mean anyone. His E ability can dodge just about any ability in the game, which is pretty obnoxious, but hey, that's not a bad thing if he's your main. Fizz is an assassin that can actually kill tanks almost as easily as he can pop squishies. As well as having huge burst, he has great sustain damage, which opens up for some interesting build options to suit his needs. The simplicity of his kit allows him to be very adaptable. Fizz scales great into the mid and late game, so he doesn't need a wreck early to be a late game powerhouse. Now to the bot lane. ADCs have a pretty linear role across the board, but I've chosen Corki here for a few reasons. Aside from the obvious mix damage that allows him to fit any team comp, Corki has the option of a poke and siege item build as well as the option of a teamfight build. He's also one of the only ADCs with any real playmaking ability, and that's his package, which if used effectively has insane snowball potential. Corki is not the greatest ADC to play from behind with, but his damage never really falls off, so losing a game too early is never really much of a worry. Finally, we have the underrated support role. My pick for this is Thresh. Thresh is very much the Lee Sin of the bot lane. He's never really quite OP, but a good Thresh can play against any lane and wreck them. Like most supports, Thresh can build anything he wants to fit the needs of his team. His pick potential and ability to save allies with his W can single-handedly save a losing game. His playmaking potential ties into this and is probably unparalleled for a support champion. And as far as snowballing is concerned, Thresh can easily get his ADC ahead and continually extend their lead by CCing his enemies to death while his marksman just right-clicks. I hope this video along with my examples are able to assist you in choosing your personal mains, whether they be champions from this list or others that fit the framework even better. An important thing to note is that if a champion you are maining is so far from what the current meta is, it's probably a good idea to let go of that champion for a while because you have a better chance at being successful on others. That's all for this video, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments and subscribe if you like this sort of stuff. I'm currently sifting through a long list of videos to make, from champion guides to OP champion picks to deeper game strategies and insights. Trust me, the list is huge. So let me know in the comments if there's anything specific you guys want to see from me. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Sino, and I'll see you again soon.